So up next, it is time for a much anticipated keynote speech. We're going to be looking at the subject of the Goodwall Global Impact Challenge. And to that end, I'm delighted to welcome Omar Bawa, who is the co-founder and COO of Goodwall, to the stage.
Oh, wow. Well, hey, good afternoon, everyone. It is amazing to be here at the Cardano Summit. Many years in the making to be here with all of you today. So for today's keynote and presentation, I'm going to walk you through a few things. First, a bit of an introduction about myself and Goodwall, but then also, most importantly, an announcement and a presentation of our collaboration with Cardano, and in particular Catalyst and the Cardano Foundation, leading to our Global Impact Challenge for 2024 and for 2025. So maybe just to kick off, give you a little bit of an overview of why Goodwall exists and our mission. So today, Gen Z is the largest generation in history, with more than 2 billion young people aged between the ages of 12 and 27, 1 billion of whom are expected to enter the workforce by the end of this decade, by 2030. Of that billion, 90% are from developing and emerging economies, 80% are from the global south. And when you think of the way in which today we value and assess talent, whether it's on LinkedIn or through traditional CVs and resumes, it's primarily based on 3, maybe 4 criteria: your work experience, your education, who you know, and where you're from. As I mentioned earlier, when it comes to where you're from, the majority of youth are from developing and emerging economies. When it comes to work experience, for your average young person, you face a catch-22. You need experience in order to get experience. Second, when it comes to your education, according to UNESCO, less than 37% of youth benefit from a privileged higher education today. And third, unless your parents are well connected today, more often than not, you're not. Which is why on Goodwall, we've set ourselves on this mission really to level the playing field and connect as many young people to opportunities and value them holistically beyond your traditional resume, based on your skills, based on your experience, and in doing so, connect you to better livelihoods. Our mission, as I mentioned, is really to make the future of work work for everyone and connect every young person leveraging technology, partnerships, and community to better livelihoods and to a better future. Help them maximize their potential, if you will. Maybe just to give you a little bit of a backstory as to why Goodwall exists. So I co-founded Goodwall with my brother Taha. We were born into a humanitarian family of sorts. And you're going to see a full circle moment when we go to the Cardano Impact Challenge today. But our parents worked for the United Nations. My father served the UNHCR to help refugees in Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, the last Gulf War, last Iraq War for 30 years. And my mother was the first female employee of the Global Fund to fight HIV/AIDS, TB, and malaria. So we grew up, if you will, with a desire to create meaningful impact with our lives. I started coding at the age of 10, initially wanted to become a particle physicist at CERN, but then figured if I could leverage the technology, especially social networking, in order to create that meaningful impact at scale, that would be a meaningful way to use my life. The photo that you see just behind me, that's one of my brother. We were accompanying our father to a refugee camp in Iran. And I was around the age of 7, 8, he was around 10. And we spent the day playing with kids our own age. Until eventually we were called back into the tent and asked to actually distribute sweets or candy to other kids who we had just played with. And you'd think that's a fairly innocent or fun activity, but it struck us at the time as kind of awkward. Why were we the ones distributing the sweets? And in many ways, that moment was our first recognition of this opportunity gap that exists in the world, and really set us on this mission to bridge that gap. And you'll hear more about that as I introduce our impact challenge, which leads us to Goodwall. So today, Goodwall is, you could say, one of the fastest growing Gen Z talent communities. Globally, we empower young people, young talent, to maximize their potential, become the best versions of themselves, while also tackling some of our world's greatest challenges. Over the course of the last 12 months, alongside our partners and alongside the campaigns that we run, we've reached around 100 million young people in 150 or so countries. To really understand Goodwall, you can visualize it almost as, a LinkedIn for the TikTok generation. We've been featured in app stores across 30 countries, recognized by Forbes, by the World Economic Forum, most recently by Time 100 as one of the top education technology companies in the world, and on the cover of Fast Company. But as you can see, at its core, at its heart, what Goodwall is a community, a talent community where beyond borders, young people can connect based on their shared interests and their skills. What we offer our partners, and today we work alongside some of the largest Fortune 500s, from Accenture to Microsoft, PwC and SAP, to governments, and then the United Nations, UNICEF, UNDP, UNHCR, in order to mobilize and engage Gen Z at a large scale. We offer a suite of solutions, going from talent solutions, where we help employers and future employers really position themselves to attract, train, and build, if you will, future-proof their talent pipeline with a strong employer brand by engaging early with young talent. We also offer a suite of brand solutions and insights to better understand this next generation and engage with them interactively, and then impact and innovation solutions as well, which is our bread and butter and leads us closer to our impact challenge. Just maybe to show you a bit of the work we've done beyond Catalyst and Cardano. We, for example, have launched Green Rising, which today is one of the largest climate education and mobilization programs in the world, in partnership with UNICEF and Generation Unlimited, supported by Accenture and SAP, mobilizing young people all around the world to take green, positive actions, going from tree planting to recycling, and preparing them for the green economy of tomorrow. We also host one of the largest scholarship competitions in the US, reaching more than 1 million students every year, but doing it a little bit differently. Instead of writing a boring essay, you participate with a TikTok-styled, engaging video, showcasing creativity. As you can see, one of our participants even wrote a song as to why she deserved that scholarship. And then most recently, we're hosting with the Department of Education in the US, and Explorer, and General Motors, and General Electric, and a host of other partners, the National STEM Festival, the most important competition or challenge in DC for the future of STEM in the US. Which leads us, of course, to today and to Cardano partnering with Goodwall. This has been a partnership many, many years in the making. A big shout out to Yoram, who I see here, who has facilitated and engaged this and made this into a reality. And I remember a couple years back, just before walking into this, I was at a Cardano summit just like this in Lausanne at the Olympic Museum, where this idea, I bumped into this guy called Patrick. Is he in the audience? Yes. And from NMaker, and Yoram, of course, introduced us, and we got to talking, and we came up with this idea of how could we leverage what NMaker has built, which is the ability to mint NFTs and the incredible community that we're able to mobilize to be able to create both ecosystem value and huge impact, which led us to a pretty big idea called Art Beyond Borders, which I'll walk you through right now. So when it comes to artists, especially young artists in emerging economies today, they face a very similar scenario or situation to young talent, right? They are underpaid, they are uncredited, they are often overlooked. It's also, there's a lot of societal pressure and stigma against pursuing a path in the creative arts or in art in many economies and in many countries. Meanwhile, creativity, according to the World Economic Forum, remains one of the top 5 sought-after skills of tomorrow. And yet we push young talent away from creativity and away from artists. Which leads us to art beyond borders. An idea literally born at a Cardano summit 2 years ago and now manifested here today. So in partnership with Project Catalyst, with Cardano, and of course with NMaker, and in support of, I'm not sure if Alvaro is here, amazing, in support of Switzerland for UNHCR, and for UNHCR, we created this incredible challenge. The thing is, we got the green light to launch this campaign only a couple of weeks ago. So it gave us a very short timeline in order to deliver it, to make it on time for the Cardano Summit. And within 2 weeks of having this campaign and challenge live, we reached around 4 million young people all over the world. From 32 countries, we were able to receive more than 650 artworks, leading to 50 finalists who were then selected and judged by our jury, many of whom are here today. Amrita, big shout out to you. Great to see you here. Leading to 25 pieces that were selected. Our jury was world class. As I just mentioned, Amrita. We also have Bernadine. You might be familiar with Moti. Moti is the CEO of DeviantArt, the largest community of artists in the world. And hopefully, as we expand this competition, DeviantArt will play a much more significant role in scaling this challenge and this campaign. And as a result of this, we were able to mint 25 of the top pieces. And the idea has been that the art is both minted and then auctioned off as NFTs, and the proceeds are split. A percentage, the most important percentage, going back to the artist who created the piece of art, but then also paying it forward through an evergreen fund that we're creating so that future artists can benefit from this, and this challenge, this campaign, never ends. And then finally, core to this mission, and also, as you can see, to my personal story in a way, a percentage of these proceeds are going towards UNHCR in the context of going beyond borders and in supporting refugees worldwide, so those who have lost pretty much everything, and giving them hope when hope is no longer there. Ooh. Which leads me to a video to introduce you to our winners of this year's
In collaboration with Cardano, Project Catalyst, and NMaker, we proudly introduce Art Beyond Borders, an initiative that bridges art and social impact, proving that creativity knows no borders. Through Goodwall, artists worldwide submitted their digital creations, sharing their stories of inspiration. These artists have had the unique opportunity to contribute to the Cardano Summit Limited Edition, inspired by the powerful messages of UNHCR's Hope Away from Home campaign. This initiative emphasizes recognition and inclusion for those who have fled their homes in search of hope and new beginnings. Through this collaboration, we aim to highlight artistic talent while shining a light on the resilience of those rebuilding their lives in new communities.
Being able to do creative stuff, artistic stuff has been innate, and it has been exciting to do. So this opportunity was very compelling because it gave me an avenue to make something meaningful of my passion.
This artwork is a tribute to that child within me and within all of us. It's a reminder that no matter how much or little we have, there is always something we can create.
Africa itself is colorful. Africa is colorful in the people you meet. The people you meet are colorful, the cultures you meet, and the places you visit. So Knowing that Africa is colorful is something, some way, somehow, was something I wanted to reflect.
I hope to use my creativity as a creator and a lover of art to change the narrative for the younger generations, to show them that they can always choose a different legal approach towards success.
Join us in celebrating the creativity of our finalists and supporting a meaningful cause. Explore their artworks, make a purchase, and become part of a movement that empowers young artists and provides vital aid to refugees. Together, let's transform lives through the power of art.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And all of this is really also possible thanks to the support, of course, of Catalyst and the Cardano ecosystem and community. And again, thanks to our juries and jurors, we were able to select 25 winners coming from all over the world, from India to Cameroon to Burundi to Sri Lanka and Nigeria, giving young talent both confidence in their ability, in their skill, in their creativity, encouraging many who would have otherwise never considered pursuing art, let alone as a vocation, but even as an activity or as a hobby to do so, and giving them the opportunity to have their creations seen globally in forums like today, but also thanks to NMaker and thanks to the website, to millions of others. And in doing so, those who participated have inspired many of their own generation to follow suit. So it's not just about learning by doing and strengthening that one skill of creativity, but also for many, it's about learning by seeing what others have done, which is social learning. By seeing these winners, many are inspired to follow their footsteps and join in. The collection is now live. Highly encourage you to go and explore it and check it out. As you can see, there's some beautiful, beautiful art pieces, each with its own story, each with a story of an artist who has demonstrated resilience and grit and really going beyond borders in order to bring this collection to life. So highly, highly encourage you to check that out. And then, of course, I wouldn't be here if it wouldn't be right if I didn't take this incredible opportunity to campaign a bit further and encourage you to scale this up, to take this to another level. Within just 2 weeks, we saw incredible, incredible results, but I feel like this is just the beginning, and we have a huge opportunity here as an ecosystem, as the Cardano community, to take this to a whole other level and fulfill its vision of having something that will continue in perpetuum through an evergreen fund. So the idea is, number one, as an ask, please vote at the next Catalyst Fund, at Catalyst Fund 13, in order to extend this initiative for another year, so that in 2025, when we're at the Cardano Summit, we're able to really demonstrate even bigger impact than what we've already been able to achieve today and introduce so many more young artists to Cardano and to the ecosystem and to the benefits and the value of Web3. I think, oftentimes when we've spoken with Cardano, with the foundation, and with the various ecosystem players, and as we saw in the last talk as well, we expect, or we kind of assume, the rest of the world understands what we're building here and what this ecosystem is doing and the work that is happening in Web3. To your average young person, they've never heard of Cardano, they've never heard of Web3, they've barely, if anything, they've heard about crypto, but not necessarily in the most positive light, right, given a few incidents over the last years. Whereas with what we're doing here is we're showing them, we're not telling them what Cardano is, we're not telling them about the value, we're showing them the value by having them experience it themselves, right, in the purest form. They showcase their creativity, their artworks, and in doing so, they get recognized, they get credits, they earn as a result of what we've built here, thanks to the Cardano ecosystem. So that would be my first ask, would be to not forget to vote for this, to extend this for an additional year. I would also add that we're looking at bringing on additional partners. I mentioned DeviantArt. wants to take this to a whole other scale next year, but then also other organizations, whether it's WWF or Red Cross, who have been inspired by the efforts we've done here with UNHCR and intend to scale this. And of course, continuing our efforts with UNHCR as well. Second, I would encourage you to spread the word and really invite partners that you might know, but also your organizations to join this mission. We can't achieve this on our own, as we've seen, and this only exists thanks to the alliance that we've created, right? Between Goodwall and Endmaker, between Goodwall and Cardano and the Catalyst Fund, and Goodwall and UNHCR. In order to grow this, we need more partners, and we need to take this to a whole other scale. So if you feel your organization or an organization you know, right, we're in the talks with, the likes of Sotheby's and Christie's, but maybe it's an art gallery, or a museum who would want to showcase this art and bring it to the world, please, after this presentation, reach out to me and let's make it happen, because it would be amazing to join forces on this, to scale this up. And then third, once you are home, do check out the collection, go explore it, go see it, and hopefully participate. This is how together we can really inspire another generation of artists, of creative problem solvers, and really build a future that goes beyond borders. So incredibly grateful to be here today. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a privilege to be part of this community and to have seen it grow and scale and to be able to drive value to it in our own way. Thank you so much for having me today.